Hello everyone. I hope you're doing well with all the sad news and restrictions that we have going on around the world right now. It's definitely an unprecedented time for all of us. I'm trying to do my part and keep people busy crafting with showing you my creations and how to do things, and I've been posting quite a few videos lately just to keep you busy and keep your mind with color and design. So I hope you're enjoying that. So for today, this is a fun fold video, another one in my series, and this is using the Peaceful Moments and the Painted Poppies stamp set. It's kind of like a dual set. It's a suite with, I can't tell you, absolutely, well, I can tell you, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous papers. So I've been enjoying this set. It's just beautiful colors that speak to my heart, and of course poppies have such a significant meaning to all of us because of past family members who have gone to war, been in war, died from war. So yeah, it's just, and poppies themselves are just absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So let me show you this card, and then I'm going to show you how to make it. So the front of this card, we have a lot of framelits in this set, and so I made this beautiful poppy, and I've already made the poppy. I'll tell you how I did it, but rather than show you how I did it, I've already made my poppy for the second card, and I already have a leaf cut out here. And I wanted to show you the inside. So you open it up and it flips up. So you have your greeting here and your sentiment. And it is a, what do you call it? A gift card holder. So you can choose to have it vertical like this, or you can choose to have it landscape and have it flip this way. So it's up to you how you want to design it. But I'm going to show you how to make the card base, and then as we go along I'll start decorating it. And there's some things to tell you about these dies and how they fit together. Alright, so you need a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You use the whole thing. And then I have a piece of cardstock that I'm going to actually use for a layering piece. I'm using a different piece of the Designer Series paper, and I thought it looked really nice on a white piece for the background layering on top of green. I thought that looked nice and fresh. And then we have another piece for the inside of the card. There will be a blog post with all the measurements, so you don't need to write anything down. Just follow. I always advise people to kind of go through the whole video before you start the project, you know, just in case I make mistakes along the way, or you make mistakes along the way as you're following. So that's kind of how I recommend you do things. So what you're going to do is you're going to take out your trimmer. No, sorry, not your trimmer. You could use your trimmer, but I'm going to use my scoreboard. And I'm going to take out my wax paper and give it a wipe. I always do this with cardstock before I use my score tool. It just helps the scoring tool glide a little easier. And this is very simple scoring. You're actually scoring this in half vertically and in half horizontally. So I'm going to score this at 4 1/4 because it's 8.5 across. So 4 1/4. Then you're going to rotate it, and it's 11 inches, so you're going to 5 1/2. That's it, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is we will fold and burnish on those 4, well, they become 4 score lines, but you know what I mean. It's on the 2 orientations of that cardstock. Okay. Now what we need to do is we're actually going to remove a panel in here. Just one of the quarters we're actually going to remove, and then we're going to trim down the other panel, which becomes the gift card holder. So I'm going to pull out my trimmer. You could cut these with scissors, but I prefer to use my trimmer so I can really ensure a straight edge. So I'm going to line this up down at the bottom, and if you scored it like this, you want to put it on the trimmer this way, because the mountain side of the fold will actually fall in the track. You'll feel it as you slide it over. You'll feel it kind of fall in the track, and that's exactly where you want to cut it. And so you're cutting this. There is a ruler on here, so you can place your cutting blade at 5.5. Where is it? 5.5 here. Well, it's actually at, let me put a piece of white paper under here. Yeah, it's actually at 7. Which reminds me, you know, on my previous trimmer, this is the newer trimmer that Stampin' Up! Has, but on the previous one, I literally took a piece of copy paper and I kind of used a few glue dots and I glued it underneath this ruler so that you could see the markings, because you can't see the markings very well. It would have been smart to for Stampin' Up! To have maybe a white paint job underneath here or something so you could see your marks. So we want to position this at, I think it's 7 inches because it's up from the bottom to 5.5. Let me just make sure I've got this in my track. Honestly, by the time I've done all this fiddling, you could have just cut it with a pair of scissors. Okay, so I'm position that there and going to score down. Okay, and then I'm going to score across. Now I went a tad over, which is okay because we have to cut off a piece. And if you didn't quite get the corner, just grab a pair of your paper snips and just cut that. Like so. Okay. Now, so for this piece, what we want to do is make this more narrow. So I'm going to trim off 1/4 inch on each side. So I'm going to line this up at 1/4 inch. So I'm finding my 1/2 inch mark and then backing off to 1/4 inch. I'm lining up at the bottom. I don't think you can see it from here. It's just easier to do it at the bottom. So there's my 1/2 inch and back it off to 1/4 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to cut up to that score line. And then I'm going to snip off that piece like that. And then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to cut. So I'm going to use the top now. Cut that at 1/4 inch. Like that. And trim that off. Okay, so this is what you end up with. This is the front of your card. You open it up and there's your flap. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to score along this piece here. I scored up about 2 inches. So I'm going to put this in my trimmer again from this side so I can line it up at 2 inches. 2 inches here. And I'm going to make sure that it is even with the 2-inch line down here. And make sure I'm using my score tool and not my cutting blade. Hold that tight in place and do some scoring like that. So we're finished with the trimmer. and this is what you end up with. That is your gift card holder right there. Okay? Now you want to just check, sometimes there's a little bit of an overlap, which I can see here, so I'm just going to trim that off. Actually, maybe I'll glue it down first. So I just used a little bit of Tombow, and I just put a really thin line on each side. You could use tear and tape. You don't want to have too much glue there, because you want to make sure you can fit that gift card in there. Yeah, see, I've got a tiny bit of overlap there. So I'm just going to hold that down. And let's put the lid on my Tombow. And now I'm just going to trim that little bit there. Usually, you know, when I'm working, I get my head right over my project because I'm doing a video. I don't want my head in the video. Oh, especially now. I wonder if some of you can think of a reason why I don't want the top of my head in the video. Okay, and I did cut a piece of DSP to put on the flap here. I don't know why that's the wrong size. Oh, that's a different piece. That's a piece of scrap that I had lying around. Where is the piece that I cut for this? Oh, here it is. I knew I cut the bright piece. So I'm actually using the green stripes here. Actually, it's still not cut right because this is I think I scored this at 2 inches, but I think I've made a mistake. Hang on a second, because where is my other card? I've got a sample in here. Yeah, I didn't, I scored that way too deep. But luckily, my card still fits, okay? So you should have scored this, and this will be correct in my instructions on my blog post. Yeah, you should have scored this. I should have scored this at 1.5, okay, up from the bottom. But luckily, my gift card still fits in there. So I'm going to leave it. And I won't use this piece of DSP. I'll cut another piece and put one on there. So sorry about that. You see what I mean? I would advise you to watch the video to the end. Okay, so for the front, as I was saying, I've got a piece of the DSP, and I'm going to layer this on top of the Whisper White. And let's just make sure this is the right size. Yes, it is. And, okay, so I'm going to get out my silicone mat and my tape runner. This paper, you know, it gets really difficult to decide which side is which, you know, or not which side is which, but which side do you want to use? Because some of the sides are patterned, 2 patterned pieces. Very often it's a patterned, beautiful piece, focal piece, I would say, on one side, and then there's, you know, stripes or polka dots or something a little bit more muted on the other side. But on this one, it's a beautiful piece on both sides. So we're going to mount this on the white. I like to look all the way around my cardstock to make sure that it's even. I like putting it on with 2 hands flat on the table. I don't know how some people do it in the air, but that's my preferred method. And we're not doing any ribbon on this card, so I can mount this direct. Look how nice that is with the green in the background. I like this. This is Old Olive, the green. this on the front of the card. Once you've cut the base, it's a fairly simple card to put together. Okay. So before I put the inside panel in, I do want to stamp that and design it, but let's finish up the front here. So what I have now is this poppy, and I only have part of the leaf because I want to show you how this works. So in the dies, oh, and we're going to use this die too. I'm going to cut out a piece of vellum on that. And so there's dies in both sets. Even though the Peaceful Moments is just a greeting set, there are lots of dies in here that work with both. And I've got them in this bag because I was using a lot of dies the other day. And so I'm going to use this Happy Birthday on this card. And I want to show you the dies. There's quite a few dies in this set. This is not normally how I keep my dies. I have them on a sheet, either a magnetic sheet, which I'm going to have to get out for this one because this is a silly way to store them. And there's some very tiny ones, so be very careful. That's why it's probably better on a magnetic sheet. Okay, so we have this die. This is an outline die for the main color. Now, there is a sort of a smooch stamp, this one here, that it's smaller though, but you could smoosh this with color on a piece of Whisper White or matching cardstock and then cut it out with this die. I decided to use the cardstock and I cut it out with the die, and then I ran it through the Subtles embossing folder, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a little bit of texture on there. It's very faint. It makes it look like watercolor paper. So that's what I did for that. And then there is this die, and this is the die that cut out that black overlay with this black center. So that's that die. And then for the center, there's two centers that you can choose from. There's this little center and this little center here that you can choose to use. So I did this one. So I need to cut out another. No, I already did it, sorry. And I did this in a crushed curry. Okay, so that's pretty well ready. Now for the leaves, they have these fabulous, I love them, they're layering leaves. Let me show you. So there's a solid leaf that will cut out a solid leaf, and then there's this leaf which cuts out this leaf, and then it layers on top of this leaf. So if you do in two different greens, it just makes a it makes a really cool effect. And they've also done that with these two dies. At first I thought they were separate leaves, but they're not. So you cut out one green, which is this one that I've already done, this one. And I'm going to cut this in a darker color. So this is a lighter color. This is Old Olive, I think, or is that Pear Pizzazz? Hang on. Yeah, this is Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to cut one out of Old Olive. And I need a piece of vellum, okay? So I won't talk about the rest of the dies because they're not on the card for now. So let's just put those to the side, pull this out. So I'll stop the video and I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut out a piece of vellum with this, I just call it a flourish die. And I wanted to tell you that vellum is a little bit more difficult to cut out with dies. So I recommend that you use the precision base plate, or not base plate, but the precision plate. It's a hard metal plate that you put on top of your base platform and the cutting pad, and then you just put an acrylic piece, an acrylic pad on top. And I run it through about 2-3 times, and it really assures me that it's going to cut through. So I do use this for all of our very fancy, intricate dies. You don't want to use this with, say, frames, anything that's an outline. Like, for example, you wouldn't use it for this one, but anything that's got a lot of intricacy to it, like, for example, here's a die in this set, and see how it's got a lot of cuts in there, so you would use it for that. So that is the precision plate. So I have my vellum piece here, and this is my, now that was silly, putting all my scraps on my project here. Not very smart crafting, but it is what it is. I end up having to vacuum at the end of every day around my desk. All right, now I want to show you how this works. So this is the one leaf from the one die, this one, and this is the other leaf from this die. And look, you put them right on top of each other and line up those outside edges like that. And look how cool that is. So you want very, very little glue. Now, a trick that I often use with my Tombow is I keep my Q-tips in this adorable little tin. You've got to check out this if you're a Disney fan. Look at this tin. Isn't that just the cutest thing? Our local drugstore had these with, with some cotton swabs in them for travel. I bought them mostly for the box. Okay. I digress. Some people call that a squirrel moment. I had never heard that before. But now again, with your die cuts, make sure that you've got the right side, because when you've cut this out, there's a smooth edge side and kind of a sharp edge side. And the sharp edge side is the wrong side. So I just use a Q-tip. And I put my glue on, because if you try and control that by squirting it out of the bottle, well, you can only imagine what can happen. Okay, so that's my little trick. And I'm only concerned, of course, with lining up that left edge. So I'm going to pick a major leaf here, and the next leaf, and the next leaf, and then let it lie where it lies. Look how cool that is. I think that is so, so cool. I love that look. It took me a while to figure that out. I thought they were two separate leaves. Okay, so I'm going to clean up this little mess here. Usually I use baby wipes here, but I don't have any at my desk. Now, if that had dried, you could just rub that off. That's what I love about the silicone mat. Okay, so we're ready to now decorate the front. So I'm doing pretty well the same design as this one, and maybe I'll put the leaf in a different position. So I think I will maybe do the poppy lower down with the leaf. Oh, we need this circle here. So maybe I'll do the poppy lower, and there's bulk inside this card, so that's why it won't lie flat. Let's see, I think I want it this way. Center it more this time, and then maybe we'll do this leaf underneath it. Yes, I like that. I like it. So I'm just going to put some tape runner on the back of this. And watch this too, there's a right and a wrong side. And you already know that vellum shows through, but we're covering this up. I'm sorry, tape shows through your vellum. So you always want to have something that you're going to cover it up with. And I think I'm going to put this up on some dimensionals. I just took out a new package of dimensionals. They are right here. Well, maybe let's decide where I'm going to put that leaf first. So when I put this top piece on, I forgot to put glue up there, but I use that same dauber method with the Q-tip to put my glue on that piece. Here's my leaf. I think I want my leaf coming out like that. So I'm going to turn that over, and I will simply put another dimensional on top. That will hold that in place. And then, oh, this card's a little annoying, keeps opening. Let's put another one on, a couple of others. Okay. And then we'll put this like that. Okay, good so far. Now I did take the time when I stopped the video to cut another piece of designer series paper for my flap here. I'm going to use the striped side. Like that. Let's just test this and see if this fits in here sideways. No, it's too tight. Well, just about. So if you do that really thin line of Tombow, you might be able to fit it in, but they're easier to take out if they're vertical like that. Okay, and remember, do your score line at 1.5. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so we're now ready to decorate the inside. So I have to decide what I want to do. Now there's lots of beautiful stamp choices here. We have this field of poppies, which is lovely. I could do an individual poppy. I love this little bit of ink splotches. There's 2 of those. There's some leaves. But I think I'm just going to do this along the bottom. So let's get a block out for those. Nope, not long enough. I think I need my bigger. It's too shallow. Where's my bigger? Sorry, while I search. Where's my bigger? Well, that's bizarre. Where's my bigger block? I can't find it. I'll have to use this one. Oh, I think I see it. No, that's my really, really, really big one. Okay, never mind. Let's hope this works. Let's take out, you really should use the right size block for the stamp. This is overhanging a bit, so I certainly wouldn't do this with a photopolymer stamp, have it hang over the edge like that. But this might be sturdy enough. And I'm just going to do, oh, I need a scrap piece of paper. I don't want ink on my silicone mat, because when I turn this over to put glue on it, I'll get more ink on my card than I want. So let's just go along the bottom edge here, like that. And I'm going to use those ink splotches to add some very simple color to the poppies. because that's too much work to color all those itty bitty poppies. So let's pull out the Poppy Parade ink pad. I'm going to show you this. This is kind of cool. And I'm going to pull out this ink splotch. And let's put that on a block. Nope, that's still not big enough. Okay, and I'm going to do a stamp off technique because I don't want it too dark. Well, let's just see how dark is it going to be. Yeah, I think I'm going to do full strength. And I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to go like that. See? Kind of cool, huh? And then I think I had decided to do a happy birthday for this one and give someone a gift card. I'll have to wait until I can go to a store to get a gift card. Might be some time. I might have to send the card and put in a little pick up a gift card online or something. I don't know. We have to put our real thinking hats on during this time. Yeah, so let's see. What did I do on the last one? I think I put a label in it. Did I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, let's do the same thing. We'll do something similar to that. So I am using Happy Birthday here. And there are some labels in the die set here, which is the one I used on the other one. And there's a bigger one, but that's too big to put on the inside of the card. That would be nice on the front. And these two layer together. Lots of layering possibilities, and I love this too. And this little border piece. Lots of fun pieces in this set. Or you could use a punch. Okay, so I need a scrap of that's too small. I need a scrap of Whisper White. I've got lots of scraps in my drawer here. Okay. Scrap of Whisper White, and I need, I think I'm going to do black. Yeah, there's no Blackberry Bliss. There's Blackberry Bliss in some of the papers. See, this is Blackberry Bliss. And these are two tones, Blackberry Bliss and Blackberry Bliss and Rich Razzleberry. Yeah, in that one. But I'm just going to do black for this one, and I need a block for Happy Birthday. Let's do black. And we'll cut that out with this. So I'll be right back. I am back, and the last one I sponged the edges on here, and then I put this stamp. I really like that. I think I'm going to do the exact same thing again. So I'm going to take out this stamp and mount this on a block. And then I'm going to take my black ink and I'm going to stamp it like that. Maybe I'll do both sides this time. What does that look like? Very cute. I have to admit that's very cute. I think I might want to color those too. So, yeah, let's get out my blends. I'm going to use the fine tip piece here. Every now and then I have to check to make sure I turn the video back on, because I've done that before. I've continued the video and realized that I didn't film. Then you have to redo it and pick up where you left off. And I often forget where I left off until I put it in my editor. Okay, I need Poppy Parade. I think it's this set here. Poppy Parade. Yes. So I'm going to use the bullet end of the tip for the majority of it. And then when I get to this little tiny point, I'll use the brush end like that. And then let's color this one. Oh, don't forget the little new bud. That kind of looks like a little tulip. Okay, I like that a lot. Alright, let's throw those to the side. So now we're going to put this in flat. I'm not going to mount this on dimensional. So I think I will first put this in. So remember this design, because this is great. You could incorporate a Christmas card and a gift card holder at the same time, which is kind of cool. So this would be perfect to pull out at Christmas or a birthday card, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay, we're almost done, everyone. Let's put this on the inside. Happy birthday. There you have it. A fun fold gift card holder. Just remember that 1.5 score line down here, because I think it looks better. See? I think it would look better. And there's nothing stopping you from cutting another piece of Whisper White to go on this before you fold it up, and you could just do a little bit of stamping on there. You could decorate the inside too. On this one I actually did a little panel at the bottom, which in the end I wasn't that crazy about that when it's closed like that, but that's what happens when you start designing. So I hope you'd enjoy this video for this Friday, March, I don't know what it is tomorrow, March 20, I'm not sure. The days are all running together lately, because I not going out and about to mark the days very much, so I apologize for not knowing the date, but it's getting close to the end. If you'd like to order any supplies, I'd like to remind you it's getting close to the end of Celebration. March 31st is the last day that you can order, so you can use my host code, which I will post in the video description, and shop in my online store. And you can get the whole suite of products of the Poppy suite, or just pick out some things that you'd like to get. and then you get to pick out a free $60 item. I encourage you to look at the flowering foils DSP because they're beautiful to color if you like coloring. And I wanted to also point out the vellum. There's a kind of like a dotted vellum, which is absolutely gorgeous as well. And there's lots of other stuff in there. As well as they've added some extra items out of the annual catalog. So like there's red rhinestones in there, so if there's anything else you need. And when you go to my online store at ericedney.stampinup.net and you go to shop, you look in the left hand side where the menu is, and there is all the celebration items are under one menu item there, so you should be able to find everything that you need. I really appreciate you shopping with me. As a loyal customer, I have rewards that I like to give to you. As a matter of fact, when you place orders in increments of $30, you get a ticket to go on my Get On Board to Win board. There's 100 slots on there. It's like 100 seats on a train. Get on board. And when the board is full, I draw a winner for a $100 total order gift card. So that's something you might want to consider as one of my rewards. Thanks again very much for watching and spending time with me. Take a look at some of my other playlists, and we will see you again next week. I've got some more Easter projects for you, and of course another Fun-Filled Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.